Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. We will get started in just a couple of minutes. Hang in there and give us just a moment. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining Tech Talk Live. We're going to get started in about 30-40 seconds. Give us just a few. All right, thank you everyone for joining us today for Tech Talk Live. We're going to go ahead and jump into our content here. It's 1 minute past top of the hour. So this is episode 14 in our series, and we're going to talk about protecting devices for mobile workers today, optimizing protection for all the ways your team works. Before we get started, we will have a dedicated portion of the call at the end for any questions. So feel free to use the question box or the chat, type in your questions, and we will make sure we get to them. On-demand recordings, as always, are available within 48 hours of the webinar, and you'll receive an email as soon as that recording is available. Our speakers today, Andrew Corkle is the Global VP of Marketing and E-commerce for Targus. And you all know Andrew. He is an expert in B2B channel marketing and has spent over a decade in product management and marketing for connectivity products. Dave Brown is our marketing director for EMEA. And he brings with him over 11 years in product management, specifically in the connectivity and protection space. So we're excited to have Dave with us today.
Thank you, Lacoste. Yeah, good morning, everybody. So good evening with me. So a little bit dark at my end, but really excited to be with you guys today.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks, Lacoste. This is fantastic. We've got myself, I'm here in California, coming to you live, and Dave Brown is in EMEA. So we've got two continents represented here to go into this webinar. And it's going to be really interesting because we're going to talk really intensely about protection. So we're going to cover some specific areas here around mobility and flex work and how that's influencing the way we work. Then we're going to look at what does that mean for our devices, our electronics, our laptops, our tablets, because now that we are more flexible moving around, how are we going to protect those products? So we're really going to dig into protection and look at different ways of protection, how that plays into not only protection of your hardware with bags and cases, but also looking at security. How do you keep your information secure? How do you keep your hardware secure? So it's a lot of interesting things we'll dig into here. And Dave Brown and I have been working together here at Targus for 10 years. We've actually been basically on the same team for 10 years, meaning we've been doing product management and marketing together for Targus. And so we were really integral in a lot of the product management and product development when you go back to our tablet cases and some of these other products that we've been working with. And so let's look at how the current enterprise situation looks. This is some recent data from Targus Research that we want to share with you guys. When you look at employees today, 70% of most enterprise employees still are not back in the office full time. We had that big spike of COVID in January, and that was very similar for Europe and the US. Now, even today, when you look at Asia Pacific and some other countries, they're spiking right now. And so there's this rolling effect that COVID has had on us, and it's really been limiting us from getting back in the office or really having full freedom of movement. 85% of organizations have completed or undergoing digital transformation. 57% of US companies in our recent surveys are headed towards hybrid office work weeks. So hybrid weeks, working flexible. I know at Targus, Dave Brown, you want to mention something about the EMEA office in London?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, I mean, we're based in London, in the UK, so we're right in the midst of this now. So a lot of businesses are traveling back into work. We're in the office 2 days a week now. But the hybrid working, I guess, is certainly here to stay. And I think it brings lots of positives in a work-life balance scenario, but it brings lots of negatives and lots of opportunities for damage to hardware, to breaches in IT, to lost devices, etc. So lots of positives and lots of negatives. And yeah, really excited to explore some of those today with you, Andrew.
Yeah, and this very last point here, 52% of executives have seen the average employee productivity improve with remote work. I mean, that's a great argument for remote work, but then we also find ourselves working longer hours at home. At least I do. And so we need to still maintain a work-life balance. But as part of all this movement to hybrid working, to more flexibility, to be able to work wherever you need to, that brings in this need for considerations around protection. So Dave, you want to talk a little bit about this? I know you've done a lot of work on protection.
Yeah, certainly. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, I guess as Andrew said, so as we're out and about, we're traveling more. As I said, hybrid working is definitely here to stay. There's lots more options or opportunities for us to damage our hardware, to lose our hardware, or for data breaches. And if we walk through, I guess, some of the stats here, I'll start at the bottom here, actually, based around, I guess, physical protection. When we talk protection, we always automatically default to physical protection. And some really interesting stats here from Statista saying that if you've got a decent rugged protection on your laptop case or your tablet case, you can extend the lifetime of your hardware by over a year. And that's super important in times like today, where businesses are potentially struggling for cash, revenue's tight. Extending that life of that hardware is really important for revenue, but also for productivity. We know that a damaged laptop means downtime, means lost productivity and lost revenue. So anything you can do to protect your laptop and protect your devices is really important. I think if you look at the top stats interested, 74%, almost 3/4 of IT leaders from global enterprises have reported that there's been data breaches or mobile security breaches. And I think when we talk about breaches in security, we think about Facebook, we think about Microsoft, we think about, I guess, Squid Game even in 2021 with those big breaches. But actually, 1 in 4 of all financial service data breaches result from lost devices. I think it's incredible that that whole protection piece in terms of data and hardware protection starts right at the individual, right at the employee, and then rolls right up to the top of the tree. So think about protection as an all-encompassing thing, not just damage protection for your device. Should I jump on this? I think this takes it to the next step, doesn't it? I think, Andrew, really.
Yeah, this is an interesting slide, Dave.
Yeah, if I walk through this, I guess as we talk about protecting devices, protecting our data, protecting our laptops, I think we also have to talk about protecting the employee. As we get back into the office, we travel back out there. There's some scary facts here. And I love this slide, Andrew. I mean, you look at pulling this out. So your keyboard, look at this on the left here. This number is 20,000 times more likely to be more dirtier than a toilet seat. 20,000 times. You think how terrible that is. And then also looking at the stat in the middle at the bottom there, a mouse, your mouse, your everyday mouse that you probably use and touch, I know, hundreds of times a day, is almost over 45,000 times or 45,000 times more dirty than a toilet handle. They're scary stats, aren't they? I mean, anything you do to
yeah, it is.
That, then, yeah.
I mean, it just reminds me of, don't eat nuts in the bar, the shared nut bowl, right? Because you know that it's dirty, but now this is like, how am I going to use a shared space, a shared office space? I mean, and cleanliness is really important now during COVID, but I think you have to remember, even before COVID, this is a big problem of sharing of, transmission of bacteria, of viruses. It happens a lot at the desktop. So there are ways to address that. So what I wanted to just talk about was, what are some of the ways that we address all these issues? And so it's really looking at complete mobile device protection. And we're going to dive into these 4 different ways that we really try to address protection from the target's viewpoint. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about these first 2, the bags and cases. This is our core. This is our history. This is where we really build the laptop compartment on a bag completely around the laptop. We start with protecting the laptop, and the rest of the bag is built around it so that you're going to have a protective way to carry your device. And it's extremely important, and it's all comes from our own global design team and our engineering teams that work on these products to make sure that they are protective up to our standards and our levels. Tablet cases as well, all of them have military specification standard drop testing. And that really is a third-party test to make sure that those products are protective and they are going to ensure that your tablet doesn't get damaged if you drop it. And then when you extend beyond that, you get into antimicrobial, and that's where we talked about the cleanliness and how do you keep your technology or your desktop clean of microbes. We have bags, cases, mice, keyboards that have antimicrobial protection infused into the product. And that's becoming more and more important now, and we're seeing it grow as a result of COVID and the awareness around the transmission and potential transmission of disease. And Dave, you want to talk a little bit about locks and privacy
Yeah,
screens?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a lock for your laptop or even your tablet is often forgotten, but a very simple solution to prevent against theft, as we saw before. 1 out of 4 data breaches is results from a lost laptop or a stolen laptop, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. The other area, I think, is the privacy screens. I mean, a great game that I play is if you're on a plane or on a train, actually walk down the center aisle, see how many laptops you can actually look into and see. It's scary. Also in a cafe or a coffee shop, again, you can look and see exactly what people are doing. A simple privacy screen, a simple privacy filter stops all of that. It's 2 very simple solutions that are often forgotten in today's society.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start with bags. Let's look at protection and how that works with bags. There are many different ways that Targus focuses on protection, and we bring patented technology into that. So I'm going to let Dave speak about this because he's really more of the protection expert.
Cool. Click on the GIF on the right, Andrew, as well. See if that works. That'll be good. Bit of fun as I'm talking through it. Yeah, I mean, as Andrew mentioned, literally, I guess we carry our laptops around with us, our devices around with us every day, in a backpack, in a roller, in a standard sort of briefcase type of thing, and we take it for granted that they're protected. As you can see here, we drop the bag, we carry it, we sling it around. So what I'm pleased to say that with a Targus backpack or a Targus bag, you are guaranteed that protection. As Andrew mentioned, we've had 40 years worth of testing these things, of talking to users, talking to consumers, talking to businesses, and really learning and really building in these technology protection solutions into our backpacks, into our cases, and they're hidden away. So you pick up a Targus backpack, it's light, it's usable, you don't see it in there. But just talking through, I guess, a couple of those sort of drop protection things, we have this patented SafePort sling that Andrew mentioned, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. That almost creates a cushion, an air bubble around your laptop. So you've got that fantastic sort of feeling that no matter what you do with that case, your laptop's protected. Both the Dome and the Grid are 2 great protection schemes that we built up, again, based on end user feedback. They actually have almost cushions within them that actually dissipate the pressure. So you've got layers of protection in there to prevent screen smashing, etc. So again, all built up from the experience and the feedback and the learnings we've gained from talking to consumers and end users. Above and beyond, I guess, the hardware protection, we've got personal safety. So we look to include reflectivity, or reflection strips on a lot of our backpacks. Again, fantastic, certainly from a European perspective, and I think a lot of the US traveling at night, great safety and great for education and also children. And also we have bike loops, so bike light loops. So a little loop, very simple again, but again, based on end user feedback and 5 to 10s of years, where you literally loop your bike light onto the back of the backpack, gives you that fantastic visibility. Data security, we've touched on that, and we'll talk about that later, but very simple things like RFID blocking pockets. So a simple pocket that actually has got material on the front of it. It stops your credit card or your passport from being scanned. Again, very simple solutions, but again, these are the things that we take for granted, and but what Targus builds into the solution. And then finally, that device protection. So not only protecting the outside of the laptop, but also protecting the screen, and particularly important for 2-in-1s, for your tablet or even your phone. And then having, I guess, multi-fit solutions for different sizes. So creating a backpack or a bag that fits you, but also fits your laptop, no matter what size it is. So I guess I'd leave it at that, Andrew, is that not every laptop, not every bag's equal. And you look at a backpack and you think it's super simple, but there's tens of years and so many design sort of trends going into every single one of Targus backpacks.
Yeah, no, it is very in-depth and pretty incredible. And let me just shoot forward here to more detailed information on protection. So you want to describe what's going on here, Dave?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, this is the Sling Protection that I touched on. You can sort of see on the GIF on the left there, as you drop your laptop in there, it's actually suspended in midair, that orange pocket at the bottom. So super simple there in terms of suspending it above the bottom of the bottom of the backpack. So it's actually held on a little sling, and you see on the right there. And also the multi-device piece. It allows you, basically, the multi-device allows you to choose the size of your backpack, and you're not actually governed by the size of your laptop. So if you want a big backpack, you've got a small laptop, it still works. If you want a small laptop, you want a small backpack, and you've got a big laptop, it works. The choice is yours. So again, two very simple solutions for our customers, but again, based on real end user feedback and real thought and design.
Yeah, and I think what's unique here is that, you know, a lot of people, when you buy a backpack, you know it's going to help protect your device, but maybe you just don't know the details. So we're taking care of those details to make sure it's always going to be protected. Let's look here at another example. So this is also a patented protection, and I'll just talk about this one because this is mainly focused on the US, Dave. This is the
we don't see this in Europe. Yeah, what is it?
So this is called the patented checkpoint friendly bag. And if you live in the US and you travel, you know that when you go to the airport, generally they'll say, all right, all laptops out, all tablets out of the bag. And so when you go through the scanner, you have to remove the hardware, and they scan it separately. This bag was designed according to the TSA checkpoint rules, and it's actually patented to be able to go through the X-ray scanner. All you do is unzip the bag, fold it open, and it can scan right through. And the TSA teams in the US, they are familiar with Targus, they're familiar with this technology, and they know that these, when they have this bag there, they don't have to have the laptop come out of the bag. So it's something that let's let you go through security a little bit quicker. Some of the details around this, you know, you've heard it many times. If you travel, you'll go through security, and then you hear over an announcement, can so-and-so come back? We found a computer, a laptop here. And, you know, so many people have left their laptops behind. If you take it out of the bag, it presents that as an opportunity. So this is a way to eliminate that.
Love that idea.
So let's take a quick look here also, Dave. So I know you're going to talk about this in depth, but let's look at a little video here about all the quality tests that Targus does. And there's at least 25 quality tests that go into our bags and our products in order to make sure that they're going to live up to our standards and our quality.
I love the tumbler test. This is a good one. Zipper test. Yeah.
So that's a great example of what goes into some of our products in order to make sure that they're going to be really protective, right, Dave? I love that last one with the treadmill, that you've got a roller on a treadmill just going for miles and miles over bumps. to make sure you're testing the wheels, you're testing the strength of the product. But these are 25 of the different tests that we actually perform on these bags to make sure that they're going to have a long life and be of good quality.
Yeah, we lost the sound a bit there, Andrew, but I think it demonstrates, I think, the test. And as Andrew said, every single one of our bags goes through these 25 tests. And just to pull out a couple of them, I guess, the product safety, I think, is super important, certainly from my perspective. So every single piece of material we use is Roche, Reach, SVHC, and Prop 65 tested. And we're building more and more eco materials into our bags. I love the tear strength. I think the water repellency is a super important one as well. We get so many questions about water repellence and water resistance. We build that into the majority of our bags. And if not, we've got rain covers in a lot of our bags as well to help you out even more. The jerk test is good. Hey, the salt spray test is a super important one as well. It's probably one that's not so important in the US, but certainly important in parts of the UK. And then the tumble test, it's one of my favorites. You saw that on the video, with the case, the hard case going round and round. So lots of tests, and as I said, every single backpack, every single case we have goes through all of these tests. So we're happy to launch those to you, to give those to you, and know that you can have the confidence to use your backpack to protect all your devices.
Yeah, and what I was going to point out here too is, a lot of schools and school districts, school kids use our bags to protect their Chromebooks when they go to school. And so the seam strength, the tensile strength, the adhesion strength become extremely important when, little kids will swing their bags around, throw them across the room. And our bags do carry a lifetime warranty. So, and this lifetime warranty is meant to show you that we stand behind the product. We do enough testing on it. We know it's going to have a long life and be a great quality. Dave.
Yeah, and I guess just to build on that, I mean, the whole sustainability message is so important for us at Targus, and something which we're really, really happy and building on, I guess. And the fact that we do have that lifetime warranty means that our product is more sustainable. Andrew, you've got some great stories, I think, about people having their backpacks for like 20 or 30 years, haven't you?
Yeah. So there's a lot of people, we run into it a lot, whenever we're out at trade shows or talking to people, where they'll just walk up with an old Targus backpack on their shoulder, and they'll say, you know what, my company got this for me 15 years ago, and I'm still using it for every travel and every trip. And they pull it out, everything is working perfectly. The zippers, there's no damage, there's no fraying, the straps are still strong. It's really actually refreshing and feels good, because you know that we're really testing and looking at the quality of the product and making sure that it does have a long life. It's not just a product with a 1-year warranty or a 2-year warranty. It is a lifetime warranty, and we stand behind it. So Dave, let's get into some other areas of protection. You want to talk to us about tablet cases?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess if you think that a laptop needs protection, then a tablet needs even more protection. Yeah. I mean, since I think the first iPad of 2010, we've been improving and building on our designs for tablet cases. I mean, particularly nowadays, as you mentioned, Andrew, with the digital transformation, more and more businesses are moving from laptops to tablets, or providing, I guess, their employees with both a laptop and a tablet. So again, we're moving around more, using tablets more. So protection is super important. So we'll talk in a minute, but we run 26 drop tests on our tablet cases, 26. So very similar to the laptop cases. But yeah, just building out everything. So TPU overmolds, so protected corners. So really hitting, I guess, those areas where the big issues can happen with a tablet. But also building extra features, we saw on the last slide. So hand grips, stands, etc. Really making sure that tablet case can be as efficient and as usable for you and your employees. Yeah, this is the drop test. This is amazing when you start seeing some of these videos. I don't think we have them here, but this is an independent test body that actually drops a tablet in one of our cases 26 times in all different directions as well. So testing corners, testing sides, testing front, testing back. And we ensure that every single one of our tablet cases hits that 4-foot mil-spec drop target, which is super important. As I mentioned, it's a third-party body as well. So you don't just listen or rely on Targus. It's a recognized third party which is doing these tests for us.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good to know. So what about locks, Dave? You want to talk about, yeah, physical
Yeah,
security?
exactly. Yeah. So we touched on locks before. So most people think about protection in terms of damage protection, but we touched on the fact around theft as well. So data breaches, loss of devices is super important. You can see here that 1 in 4 of all financial service data breaches we touched on before resulted from a lost device. I think the scary thing is then a couple of stats here that a laptop is stolen every 53 seconds, and that 98%, and this is from the FBI, of stolen laptops are never actually recovered. And you can see the cost of a data breach in 2020 for a lost laptop. So again, very simple piece of kit, a Targus universal lock, actually giving that to each of your staff, each of your employees. Very simple way to protect against all of these items here.
Yeah, and that's physical. And then there's also the software or visual stealing of information.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and that's, I mean, you can see some of the stats here, but even in offices where people are concerned about shoulder snooping or looking over people's shoulders. And I touched on the game that you can play when you're walking down the aisle of a plane or a train. It's just amazing how many people don't cover up their data, and it's super scary as well. But a simple privacy filter, we've got filters that fit all machines, all hardware, all screens, etc. Just a great way of protecting your data and your company's data. And again, just some good stats here as well in terms of like some of that global hacking. So 91% of visual hacking attempts were successful. And the bottom one, I'll pull out that as well, that actually, if you've got a privacy screen, you can reduce the potential of these types of breaches by over 25%, over sort of 26%. So reducing it is, again, just by dropping a simple filter on every one of your employees' machines.
That's a huge reduction. Yeah, I can imagine many times flying on an airplane, working on a financial spreadsheet, you need to protect that data.
Yeah, scary.
So here, let's talk about the last form of protection that we're going to talk about. This is looking at antimicrobial protection. How do we protect ourselves from bacteria, from microbes, from other forms of viruses even? And at Targus, we really have 3 different levels of protection when it comes to cleanliness, protecting yourself from disease. We have basic protection, which is kind of like wearing a glove. It's putting either a cover on your keyboard, or it's using a stylus to touch a screen instead of using your fingertip. It's a way to keep yourself one step removed from that touch point where you may be touching or other people may have touched, so that you're not in direct contact with any bacteria or any other form of virus or flu or something like that. And then we have integrated protection, which is a step up, a deeper level of protection. This is where we're using antimicrobial material to infuse it into the product. So this is not just a coating that may be sprayed on. This is actually chemically infused into the plastic. It's chemically infused into the fabric of the bag. So this antimicrobial protection never wears off. It will last for the lifetime of the product. Extremely important for us because we want to make sure it lasts for that whole lifetime warranty, especially for our bags and cases. But that's a defense guard protection. That's antimicrobial. It keeps you protected from the microbes and the bacteria. Then we have active protection. And this is a new product that we won a CES Innovation Award for. This is the UVC Active Disinfection Light that uses UVC light to basically kill the DNA inside of the bacteria, viruses, whatever is on your desktop underneath that light. And it does not allow that bacteria or those viruses to duplicate, replicate. It kills them. So you don't get, it's a way to keep your desktop clean, because it will run automatically for 5 minutes every hour, and that will disinfect your desktop or anything that's underneath that light. It has a UL rating, so it's actually very safe. It's great for environments, and especially if you think of a flexible workstation where someone different may be sitting there every day, this becomes an essential product for that, because it can disinfect it. When you come in the morning, everything's clean. There are no microbes or bacteria or even viruses or pathogens on the desktop. It's that clean. So Dave, that brings us to towards the end of our talk here today. You want to start to guide us through some of our key takeaways?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Andrew. I guess, yeah, it's just really, I guess the goal of today was just to open up the whole protection talk and say that, hey, protection can be viewed in various ways. And there's a lot of great solutions that we have at Targus. I guess, I mean, the obvious one we've touched on is protecting your devices from physical damage. As we move, as we said, hybrid working's here to stay. We're moving around more and more. We're using laptops and tablets outside, inside, wherever we go. So it's super important to ensure that you've got a high degree of protection in your backpack. And at Targus, with our 40 years of experience and the design and technology we've got in our backpacks, all hidden away, you can trust us, I guess, and trust the fact that we can give you the confidence that your backpack or your laptop or device will be safely stowed in a Targus backpack.
Yeah, that's great. Physical damage is so important. And then there's also the prevention of theft. And I'm glad you walked through all those examples, because there is the theft of a physical device. There are locks that can be used to prevent loss of your laptop, to prevent loss of your tablet. So it's another way to prevent the theft and make sure that you keep your devices secure. And that's going to be really important here as we start traveling more and more again.
Yeah, I think that the privacy screen as well, the bottom two are really two areas which are so simple to provide solutions for, but so often forgotten by businesses. Really effective. Yeah. I mean, that data breach one is amazing, really. By putting a simple filter over your laptop, over your screen, you can prevent all of that happening.
Yeah, it's really important. And I know our IT teams are very much focused on this. So I know we have a lot of IT teams and enterprise people on the call today. It's great that you joined us here today. I want to thank you very much for joining us. We're going to take some questions now. So if you had a chance and you typed your question in the question box, we'll answer it. If you have any question you want to ask, go ahead and type it in there. But let's go ahead and take a few questions here.
Absolutely. All right. So the first question, is this a standard level of testing? You talk about the 25 tests, I presume. Is it the standard level of testing, or does everybody have to do it?
Do you want to take that, Andrew?
Yeah. Go ahead and take that, Dave.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks. Great question. Absolutely. This is not a standard level of protection, I'd say. I mean, we've tried to demonstrate we have between 25 and 26 different tests, and that the technology is built into our cases to provide that super level of protection. And that's why I guess a Targus backpack does cost a little bit more. It's not a $10 backpack or a laptop case that you can find on Amazon, because the protection is just not there. But we strongly believe that having that protection story and those different levels of protection is super important, because a broken laptop, a broken tablet means downtime, means lost revenue, lost productivity, and can have a big impact on businesses. So it's super important to us, and we've learned everything we know from you guys out there, from industries out there, and something which we're really proud of, and something which we'll keep on driving through all of our products.
Great.
Well, thank you, Dave. And the next question, does the RFID protection create any issues with checkpoint friendly bags?
I can take that one,
Andrew, surely.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, no, our checkpoint friendly bags, the way that checkpoint friendly works is that, like, you have to have a laptop compartment, and you can't have any other pockets on that side of the product. So when that bag goes through the X-ray machine, there is only one pocket on the side where the laptop is actually inside of it. So your RFID pocket is on the other side of the bag. So it doesn't cause any interference. It's not sitting on top of the laptop. It's not sitting underneath the laptop, where it would cause interference with actually scanning that laptop. The laptop has to be completely free and in a single pocket. And that's the key with the whole TSA testing. And that's why we have patented that solution, because that's the way that we've designed it. And that's the way it can pass through without any problem.
Wonderful. I have just a couple more questions. How are there specific roles that would benefit from the locks and privacy screens, specific roles or industries that you really see using those the most?
Dave, you want to take that one?
It's a great question. I'd say every industry personally, but we use them at Targus. But I guess in particular, if you're in a role in finance, if you're working in government, so areas where I guess security is super important. You don't want to lose a laptop if you've got government information on there. If you've got financial information on there, you don't want people to be snooping over your shoulder if you're working through an HR spreadsheet or I don't know, some finances for your company. But I'd say that both those solutions are relevant for every single industry and almost every person who's out and traveling industry. Obviously, yeah, finance, government, security, even more important there, but I think super relevant across every vertical.
Yeah.
Last question: how is Targus deciding how much protection? So how are you deciding what level of protection you're giving people for their devices?
That's a good one. You want to take that again?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah,
you take it.
Yeah, I guess the way that we do it is built on our history and our knowledge. I guess through talking to end users, through working with our design experts. I mean, a lot of I take a tablet case. A lot of the products we've created there have literally been through working with partners. IKEA in Europe, we've had some great feedback there. McDonald's. These are all live examples and live scenarios where we're actually building out solutions to fit or to solve a problem. So it's not just us or our designers making up solutions. It literally is a live environment where there's a problem out there, and we're creating that solution. I think that would be my answer there. Would you add anything to that, Andrew?
Yeah. I just say that when you look at some of those tests, ones we didn't talk about are like the climate tests. And that applies also to tablet cases. It's like taking it to sub-zero freezing temperatures, as well as into very hot, like, leaving your tablet inside your parked car on a sunny, hot day where temperatures get up to, over 180 degrees in the car. We have to test also for those environments. And that's one of the things where customers will come to us and say, hey, we need this to function within these extreme environments. And then it's up to us to help design it, make sure that we've got the proper materials, the proper plastics and rubbers that are going to be able to sustain and live through those types of harsh environments. So in working with customers and really doing some of these projects like this that they need these solutions, that's where we use all that knowledge and bring it into our other products that may not be so demanding. But that's where I know our designers and our engineers are required to really go to extremes to understand how these products work and how to design them. So good. Is that any other questions, Acosta?
That's all we have.
Okay, well, great. I want to thank everybody for joining us here today. Thank you, Dave, for joining us here.
Great to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you too. And thanks a lot for everybody for coming. Let me flip here to the last slide. If you have any questions or you'd like to get more information, go ahead and just shoot us an email, sales@targus.com. You can also go to content.targus.com/consultation, and we'll hook up with you and we'll work together with you. If you have special needs or some special scenario, a project that you want us to help you work through, we'd be happy to get together on that. And all of our products, if you go on our website, we have numerous products, and on the product pages, it will show you specifically what type of protection is built into those products, so you know what you're getting. So thanks a lot again, everybody. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you again next time.
Good morning.